think it's inappropriate. I don't want to reinforce that defiling the Capitol was okay. I don't want to do anything that would make this more likely in the future. And I want to deter people who did on January the 6th. And those who did it, I hope they go to jail and get the book thrown at them because they deserve it.
If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly. This hasn't happened to all of the other atrocities.
I thought that was great. Pardons for some of these folks who didn't hurt anyone, who didn't break anything. We'd like to bring in Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia. Welcome back to the show. How are you, Congresswoman?
I'm doing great, Greg, and that was music to my ears, and President Trump is so right. They are being treated unfairly, and that's why I was so angry at Lindsey Graham for what he said. I mean, completely ignoring that due process is being violated, completely ignoring the two-tiered justice system in America, the fact that Antifa, BLM rioters, all of their charges have been dropped, virtually all of them, but yet January 6th defendants pre-trial are rotting away in prison and being treated so horribly. And I saw it with my own eyes. And so I'm so grateful for President Trump for having the courage to come out and say what most Republicans are failing to say. And even most Republicans are just willing to ignore the injustice happening in America today with these people.
You know, if you listen to what President Trump said, how can you really dispute it? He says a pardon will be necessary if they're being treated unfairly, and some are being treated unfairly. Lindsey Graham, we played sound from him earlier. It is pretty wild how Republicans get outflanked on this. If somebody mentions in the swamp January 6th, it makes most Republicans run for cover, and it shouldn't.
No, absolutely it shouldn't. No one agrees with the riot that happened at the Capitol, and that's not what I'm talking about. And that's not what people that are talking about the injustice that's happening. What we're talking about is the fact that Americans have due process rights. And in America, you're supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Well, everyone seems to ignore that. And they just tuck their tail and run away when it comes to these pretrial January 6th defendants. But that's not what I've done. I've produced a report. It's on greene.house.gov. Anyone can go to my website, my congressional website, and read the report, Unusually Cruel, about what is happening to these people in the D.C. jail. And this is why most Americans, patriots all over the country, Republican voters are very happy with what President Trump said when he wants to make sure that they're treated fairly. And in some cases, if they're not treated fairly, then that would be the case to really look further into their situation. So thank you to President Trump for having that courage and bravery when people like Lindsey Graham are just running away and acting like Nancy Pelosi, acting like the rest of the Democrats in the January 6th committee.
Yeah, they seem to say it like they curry favor with the swamp by saying what the swamp wants to hear and not talking about the real issues that you've been pointing out. By the way, it's called Unusually Cruel, your report, and it's on your website, correct?
Yes, greene.house.gov. Greene has an E on the end, so greene.house.gov. I want everyone to read it. My staff worked hard on it, and it tells everything that we saw in the D.C. jail. Excellent,
excellent. Listen, I'd like to ask you about the border. Maybe you've seen this video. It looks like rank-and-file troops getting pretty upset with one of the higher-level supervisors at Customs and Border Patrol. They all seem like they're handcuffed, and they're calling out their boss and asking for answers. Take a look.
For evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's exactly what's happening. For evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's exactly what's happening here. Good men are doing nothing. You're allowing illegal aliens to be dropped off in communities.
You are doing something.
No, sir, we're not.
You are.
No,
you're rescuing people every day. You're taking fentanyl off the streets every day. You're taking methamphetamine criminal aliens off the streets every day.
The highest fentanyl death in the history of our country in 1 year.
Wow. I mean, the swamp, there's some really good people, rank and file people, who are being, I think, told to look the other way by the swamp.
Oh, yeah, they're being told to look the other way. They're told to lie, basically. You know, in our country, we only have 19,000 Border Patrol agents. Just to give you perspective, New York City has 35,000 police officers. Sadly, they have a few less because of the horrific crime and police officers being killed on the streets. But that guy right there, he's calling out his superior, and he's saying we are unable to do anything. We're unable to do our jobs because the federal government has our hands tied behind our back. The Joe Biden administration and Kamala Harris, the so-called border czar, cares nothing about the borders. As a matter of fact, they're flying illegal aliens all across America in the dark of night, and the American taxpayers are paying for it. And we are fed up with it, absolutely fed up. That's why I introduced articles of impeachment on Joe Biden, because he's failing America at the border, and he should be impeached for this. It is a complete crime what is happening at our border.